The Barbados Cube Theory explained. This blog gives more perspective to the Barbados Cube Theory. What if parts of the Caribbean were sitting on top of a hidden energy grid, and certain natural events could trigger it to collapse? That's the idea behind something called the Cube Theory, a belief system that connects Barbados' volcanic activity, earthquakes, and even solar storms into one global structure. Today, I am breaking down what this theory claims and how the two key cube sites in Barbados could eventually break. Why it has to start in Barbados and not elsewhere? Barbados is a water gate. Stargate 3 runs the mental body. Stargate 2, the Sarasota line, runs the body. And Stargate 4, the Giza line, runs the spirit. You have to free the mind first. Red cubes in one small island equals massive pressure. And when they pop, it's like uncorking a champagne bottle. It's like a Gulf Stream amplifier. Once the Akasha hits that current, it circumvents all 55 grid nodes nets in 6 months, making it the fastest global delivery system. Tribe 3 DNA node genetic line is anchored in the Caribbean. And when Stargate 3 opens, Tribe 3 lights it up and broadcasts the 12-code share wave globally. The two remaining Barbados red cubes need a fire event to shatter. Cube 1 was north of the island and was destroyed with a solar flash, also known as the Lucifer's second eruption. To stop its bleed, a direct pale gold flame injection was placed into the cracked core. The South Point area of the island is where Cube 2 is located. The first major site is said to be in the South Point region of Barbados, around the southern coastline. This area is already weakened and under stress from geological and environmental activity. The South Point Cube is functioning at 60% integrity. A Kikum-Jenny eruption and one more direct solar flash or fire pulse wave is all that is needed. In order to fracture the cube shell, a 1.61 Hz magma pulse needs to be injected straight into the cube. This will melt the Phoenix rods, which is connected to the Phoenix wormhole, which will short out that cube. Kikum-Jenny is an underwater volcano 100 miles southwest of Barbados, and it sits on the same subduction fault as the South Point Cap. The UWI Seismic Research Center confirmed there was Kikum-Jenny activity swarms equaling 200 plus quakes in 2024. What happens when the cube is destroyed? Sargassum disappears off Barbados overnight. Sargassum superblooms record 24.4 million tons in June of 2025. Barbados beaches were inundated. The seaweed is scrubbing the muton radiation as the cube bleeds. Crane Beach water turns electric aqua. Aqua Gold water flushes in, and the Akasha bleeds through from cracks in the cube. This caused 5G cable outages. Barbados Flow and Digicel reported blackouts in St. Philip Parish in 2024 and 2025 during the quake swarms. This was the Phoenix rod shorting out as the cube loses integrity. Biosymptoms include locals reporting heart flutters, crown pressure, and vivid dreams in 2026. The second location is said to be deeper inland, near the central highlands around Mount Hillaby. This site is described as stronger and more protected, almost like a core structure. Because of that, it supposedly wouldn't break from just one event. Instead, it requires a sequence. Step 1 would be a major tectonic event somewhere in the Atlantic region. The Highland Cube, a softening phase, is in progress. It is now at 80% integrity. This cube is located in central Barbados under Mount Hillaby. It is the deepest, most shielded master cube. It is double cored. To shatter this cube, it needs 2 sequential hits, like a major quake in the Puerto Rico Trench. What a quake does, it sends 12-code shear waves through Barbados' ridge, which will crack the outer shell. The cube will then drop to 40% integrity. The Highland Cube is bolted to the Atlantic 55 grid node that runs the Canaries, Azores, Barbados line. Why it's not shattered as yet? It is double cored and still fed by the Canary Islands and the Azores. It has taken damage though. The Canary Islands unrest, microquakes in 2025 did some damage. The Schumann spikes at 40 to 60 hertz bursts in 2024 also created some damage. The cube shell is absorbing these hits from the solar cycle 25 peak X-class flares in 2026, which is already hitting the atmosphere. The solar flares amplify any natural event. The Archons are panicking because the cubes are failing. New undersea cables were laid in Barbados to Brazil in 2025 to replace the Phoenix rods. HAARP warmed the Caribbean ionosphere during the quake swarms at a 6.6 hertz, hardening the beams. Cloud seeding operations over Barbados in 2024 and 2026 also dispersed liquid muon patches. Media focus on the climate crisis during the Sargassum Goldwater events was a cover story for the Cube bleed. CERN must go down before Cube 3 dies, and it has. If CERN stays online, the Highland Cube itself repairs after every eruption. If CERN dies, the Highland Cube dies, and Barbados opens and the planet wakes up. Barbados is Domino 1. I am Empress Aziza. I'll see you in the next vlog.